Folks, it's Thursday, so that means it's Jungle Drums time. Albeit I am streaming this a lot earlier than I usually would, but there's reasons for that. But it should be up on scholarlygamers.com at a decent time tomorrow. I'm joined by my good friend Sergeant J.
Hola.
How you doing there, buddy? How you doing? Thank you for
Good.
taking time out of your schedule to fit me in here.
My busy schedule of being off for 2 weeks, it was tough, but I made it. I managed to squeeze it in.
It's all right for some. It's all right for some. Right, hold on. Let me just get a couple of things sorted here. Sorry, it's always the same. I end up getting things sorted. Right, so, well, first out, I want to give a shout out to another bit of video content that is on scholarlygamers.com that if you haven't checked out, you absolutely need to. And this is Armchair Gaming. This comes out every other week on a Wednesday. We're only on the second episode so far, so there's not that much for you guys to catch up on. But this is by Sheldon. Sheldon has a bachelor's in philosophy, right? I mean, he's an all-around cool guy. You know, he streams when he can. He's also a very busy man. But basically, his first 2 episodes of Armchair Gaming have been addressing the allegory of the cave. But it's a really, really good show. If I just pull up a little clip here.
A bit of a cliffhanger. You're all excited.
Where basically he's exploring philosophy, but also using for illustrative purposes games. So all the games that he's going to be playing during this series are going to have some kind of tie-in with philosophy. So no, it's definitely worth a look. So I just wanted to give my buddy a shout out there. As always, you can go to www.scholarlygamers.com and look at the video content, and you'll find them. Right. So with that being said, first order of business, of course, has to be the Destiny 2 beta. In fact, I've got just a short clip that I'm not sure if you saw this on the feed, Jay, but basically it was like Wildlands happening to me all over again. So this was on the story mission. If I just play this. So here I am, you know, just doing my thing. Just wrecking folk. You know, oh yeah, a little bit of a Titan punch there. Ooh, that one almost got me. You would have thought that would have taught me a lesson, since that was such a close call.
You would have thought so.
You would have thought so. But no. There we go. To put this in perspective, basically, at Ghost Recon Wildlands, I had this horrible luck of any time I was summoning a helicopter, like, more often than not, it would actually land on me and kill me. So that little clip of Destiny 2 beta there just kind of made me think of that. But yeah, hey Jay, you know, why don't you start off? Give me, what's your thoughts on the beta?
Well, story mission, actually getting to play the parts we didn't see was fantastic. I thought it was quite well done, especially getting to run through it all, seeing how much Tara's been destroyed and all the little bits. And getting to see the final cutscene, which has been shown anyway, was quite cool. Strike for me was a little bit boring, but then I had the same problem with Destiny 1. After you've done the strike so many times, they become tedious, they become boring, I don't want to do them anymore. Crucible, I'm absolutely loving the 4v4 mode. I think it's fantastic. I thought it was to be a bad thing, wasn't too sure. Absolutely loving it. Loving the new game mode, they've got Countdown as well, which is almost, as when me and Nathan played, described it as almost Overwatch plus Siege in terms of all this to diffuse them and plant them. But as a whole, I've quite good thoughts. A bit wary still, and there's a lot of stuff in there that people are questioning that you have to look at. And obviously, you say it's a beta, so depending what's going on with it, and depending if it's delayed, still depends what you feel like.
No, I mean, you're right with the PvP. I think the 4v4 just brings a whole new dynamic. I mean, you look at Control, right? And Control, if we're honest, you know, you could just... You didn't really have to have that many people in defense, but let's be honest. If you started at A, you would hold A, take B, and with a team of 6, you could, if you were decent and you had good communication, you could hold 2 points.
Yep.
And the 4v4, I find that a very different kettle of fish. Most of our matches, because I was playing quite a bit last night, because funnily enough, I couldn't get to sleep. And what I found was just doing a rotate, running around, capping, and just constantly doing that. That was our best games were when we did that.
I think
it was quite interesting.
If you look at the just talk about control here, the fundamentals and the way it's changed is amazing because first of all, the maps are more designed towards 4v4. So I actually find it more hectic than 6s because you've got a lot more of these smaller scale skirmishes going on.
Oh, big time.
The other change as well with control, which is nice, is the flag caps are, obviously, I don't know if you noticed or if you knew this, the speed of which it caps does not change based on how many players you have in it. So obviously it brings this whole other dynamic of one person can hold the flag whilst you've got 3 other people either A, pushing onto other flags, or B, holding all these little choke point areas, stopping them. And then you throw in all the cool abilities like the Titan Shield, the Warlock Healing Rift, the slightly lackluster Hunter rolls. it all becomes a lot more hectic and a lot more cool in my opinion. The only downside which there is at the moment, which has been spoken a lot about at this point in time, is the abilities and super recharges, which I kind of find interesting due to the fact that every Crucible game you had one super, that was it.
Yeah, it just makes them feel it's more tactical, as far as you have to, these supers, instead of coming up quite often, it's more a case of saving it for a certain point, or trying to kind of swing the battle in your way. I got that. I mean, I really liked the the added class ability. That adds a nice new little dynamic.
It does.
I thought that was cool, and also the cooldown of that seemed okay to me. I mean, one of the things that gets me is people were complaining about certain things. Now, I will agree that I felt the time to kill is quite high, and I don't know if that's intentional, if they want it to be that way. But then on the other hand, I think, well, wait a minute. Now, Crucible, we knew, is supposed to be relatively equalized anyway, but when you look at the fact that we're basically in scrub gear with scrub weapons, we're only level 20, I think you can't really make a nice... I mean, when we talk about our supers, recharging super slow, did anyone look at their stats?
Well, this is the thing.
We had no stats.
Is obviously, we're used to Destiny 1 being able to play with intellect, discipline, and strength, which has completely gone from Destiny 2, from what we're aware of. And obviously, I had, for example, on my Titan, I have a max intellect discipline build. I'm not going to lie, there's quite a few times in Destiny 2 where I was sitting there trying to throw grenades, not having them, because I'm used to this muscle memory of having grenades ready for me. But the thing is, what we need to look at is, yes, those stats are completely gone. Yes, the stuff's still slower, but we don't know what these armor slots these armor mod slots are going to incorporate. If it's going to be things like super recharges less, grenades recharge less, melee charge less. And the other thing, which I can't remember Reddit, I think it was Reddit or something to do with comparison of, if you look at a tier 0 Guardian in Destiny, so 0 stats across the board, I think their super recharge rate is about 5 minutes 30 or something. I think somebody was saying the new one is about 7 minutes 30.
Yeah, which isn't a huge amount. I mean, again,
it's a 2-minute difference.
I mean, for me, it's just people trying to compare, going from the first one where they have 400 light, where they have, they've had time to do their re-rolls, so they've got, really good perks in their weapons, armor that has great synergy, all of these things. Well, of course it's going to feel different in this beta. Of course it's going to feel... Oh, thanks to the tweet, Scarlet Gamer. Much appreciated. Of course it's going to feel different and weaker. It was the same with the PvE. I felt, okay, it does feel like these things are bullet sponges and they're not doing much damage. But of course, because, again, you were in basic scrub gear, not optimized. You're only level 20. These are the people who are trying to, in my opinion, take their perspective of, right, I'm at the top, top level in Destiny 1. I've got all the best stuff. Oh man, I feel weak in Destiny 2. Well, of course you do. That's kind of that was going to go without saying. With that being said, though, I did feel that the time to kill in Crucible felt just a bit, it was noticeable for me.
Yeah, I think they did say that they wanted the time to kill to be a bit higher. This is the reason why, for example, your sticky grenades are no longer one-shot kills. But obviously, they still have got a lot of weapon tuning to do. They did say for the beta, didn't they? None of the weapon stats or anything like that are finalized stats. They all need tuning. They all need balancing still. And I think, as well as this being an almost technical test for him, because that's mainly what this probably is for.
Yeah,
it's good to see how these numbers play. Because from what we're aware, this may probably is very unlikely to be the current test build of Destiny.
Oh, absolutely. I've already seen.
Anyway,
there was already a post on Twitter that I'd seen it linked to an article talking about already they're taking the feedback on board and they're trying to tweak a few things. For instance, it was reported the power ammo, which obviously in Destiny 1 we knew is heavy, but that a lot of players were complaining that they just felt that there wasn't enough drops. So they're like, okay, we need to balance that. I think ammo in general seemed a little bit quite sparse, but I didn't think that was a bad thing. I found myself having to switch, actually switch my weapons more often than I usually would. Because I was running out of primary. Oh crap, I better switch. I was on my Titan, so I was using that exotic autocannon thing, and then I think I was using a submachine gun as my secondary, energy, because I like that as well, this whole change of kinetic energy and power instead of primary, secondary, and heavy. But no, I mean, let's talk about that story to begin with.
Yes.
I mean, that was... I really enjoyed it. I definitely got some goosebumps here and there playing through it. The cutscenes, I don't know if, maybe it is because it's an early build or something. I enjoyed them. I didn't think, graphically they were so far better, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I mean, you could see there was improvements there, but again, I'm not trying to sound negative about them. I just mean it didn't, it wasn't more the same, but I just felt that graphically the cinematics weren't on the next level. They were just, okay, more good stuff. There definitely was a lot of them there for that first mission. I doubt we'll get that many per mission. Probably just at certain points.
You'd hope not, because we don't want it to go down the route of I believe it was Metal Gear, wasn't it, where you just had a stupid amount of cutscenes.
Oh god. Yeah, too much can be a burden, absolutely.
Coming to the story, I had quite a interesting conversation with Warfares about the story earlier, because we were just talking about it and how, I can't even say what you're saying now, but I used WoW as quite a big comparison here for this, because if you were to look at Destiny 1, excluding the Taken King and Rise of Iron, but just look at sort of Destiny 1 as a whole, what I would probably most say is the first WoW, they were exploring a lot of enemies and there wasn't really a main antagonist in it at all. You didn't really get a proper antagonist for Destiny 1 until Dark Below and House of Wolves. And I think that's half the reason why Destiny 1 story struggled a lot. Now, we saw an improvement of that within the Taken King when we actually had a main antagonist. And what was nice about that, which we use as a comparison to Wrath of the Lich King in WoW, was like the Lich King, the shade of Oryx appeared throughout the storyline for you.
Yes.
Constantly appeared.
Yeah.
He almost made you feel like the Lich King, like you were really there for him, And like WoW, with Destiny, you had strikes that weren't necessarily relevant to the story, but were affected because of the story. So
they were just they tied in.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what Wrath of the Lich King story-wise did very well as well. Now, if we move on to Rise of Iron with Destiny, again, you had this main antagonist, which was nice, but we saw the effects of him, but we didn't actually really see him or know about him until the raid. Now, I think a lot of this problem was due to how quickly Rise of Iron was brought out, what the idea of Rise of Iron really was. It was just a filler X back. It was we're going to bring you back to the good old days. Now, so what I'm hoping with this story is that not only does it all tie in nicely and they have a nice story, but we've got a main antagonist. We've got Gaul, Gary, whatever you want to call him, Gil, so beginning with a G, and obviously all the Cabal. We know this is our main antagonist. We know this is what we're after. We know this is what we want to fight. So, as nice as it will be with the whole entire storyline centering around that, I hope we get to see him throughout the story. Be that via Cabal's necessarily comm systems talking with him, or him actually finding us, or little skirmishes with him. I'm hoping, because for me, when you have an enemy like that in a story, it always makes it so much nicer.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it does echo a lot of the Taken King, where right off the bat we're meeting the main antagonist, and he kicks her butt. And I mean, even that. I mean, spoiler alert, but the whole light thing. Whenever that happens, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Oh my! I mean, how is that gonna affect like your playthrough? I mean, that's just. I'm really interested to see how that happens, where that goes. If is that the first kind of going to be the first part of the story? Is trying to reclaim your light?
Yep.
I mean, just.
But like I said, I would like to see Gaul appearing more, even if it's just voice comms or something you get to overhear. So it'd be nice to have him there, because if you look at any sort of, well, I would say almost, I say some good story games, I'm going to use things like COD here as an example. You do see the main antagonist quite a bit throughout the story, and it's always nice because it not only does it make you feel more involved with the story, I suppose it almost gives you this more hatred factor, because you constantly have to deal with them. You're constantly knowing it's them behind everything, not just some random thing. One thing which Destiny I feel could do better as a whole for the sequel to Destiny 2, which I don't think they will do, which would always be nice, I think, is if they were to have multiple raids, but I don't think that'll be something that happens.
No, it'll be I mean, we'll probably. I would imagine that raids will be tied into, like you said, it'll be one for the main release, then maybe one for a DLC, and so on and so forth.
So this is where obviously the next point comes. They're not really relying on the beta much for this, but how they're going to keep us gripped within the game, how they're going to keep us coming back.
I mean, they keep saying. I mean, we did say last week, about how there's supposed to be so much story that to the point where they hope that players are going to complain about it. And considering we got that much story just out of that first kind of opening mission, that would keep me a little hopeful that they're probably right. I mean, even with the strike, I actually enjoyed it. I thought the scale of the strike was quite large, and then also with the boss battle, having it tiered like that.
I thought that was quite cool, and it hopefully shows what they are capable of doing, or ideas at least. Because that's always something I was hoping with Destiny when it first came out, was this idea of it being an MMO-esque kind of thing, that you'd have like boss fights with certain health gate stages and tiers and changes and things like that. Yeah,
and I think that's a case of them just learning, Jay, where, let's be honest, I mean, yes, there has been other MMO FPSs, blah, 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 and okay, the Destiny creators, Bungie, say that's not what this is. This is a shared world online shooter. But let's be honest, I mean, there was a lot of the MMO aspects that it was missing initially, and I think they are trying to address that, and like you say, make it feel just that little bit more, that kind of epicness. Because, I mean, even you look at vanilla Destiny, if we're honest, the missions are quite short. When you're first playing through and leveling, they seem big and a lot of stuff happening. But when you go back through, I mean, you can do those things in minutes.
They do not take long, do they?
No, so hopefully, that'll, judging by what this tiny snippet, and let's be honest, we can't really judge things off of what we've seen and played, but at the same time, if that's just a taste, it has to leave us relatively optimistic. We're gonna have our, I mean, me, I've got a few, concerns or just worries that are they gonna make the same mistakes, or have they learned from them and whatnot, but only time will tell how all those things work out.
I think another few things to look at as well, especially if complaints, is you've got a lot of people feeling that Bungie have catered the game more towards PvP, and that's negatively affected the PvE experience. So we're looking at things like, apparently, the charge rates of supers, grenades, the way the new weapon system works, which I personally think is very good, and probably come onto in a minute. And obviously things like, again, power ammo drops and everything. And as much as these changes could be seen as being pure for PvP changes, and definitely potentially a Bungie aiming towards an esport, which could negatively affect the game, I think a lot of stuff for the that's been done in PvP isn't necessarily a bad thing. So coming on to the weapon slots as a whole. Obviously you've got your primary, and then what is called your kinetic slot and your energy slot, which is quite nice because it means you get these energy primaries as such. So you got this nice little mix. So I can have, like, for example, a scout rifle, and then close range hand cannon, SMG, auto rifle, which is a nice little swap around. I haven't got to worry about swapping between the sniper and everything. big concerns power ammo of it, power weapons, obviously, because you've got a lot of weapons crammed into that power slot now.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got your grenade launchers, snipers, shotguns, fusion rifles, swords, because they're probably going to be they will be a thing.
No doubt.
Now, what makes this interesting is obviously that's one for PvP purposes to stop people from running around with shotguns and snipers constantly. But I think for PvE, it's also a very good thing because you look at a lot of boss fights in raids, and a lot of it was we're going to stand here with our snipers and just snipe, or we're going to stagger it with snipes, rockets.
Yeah.
I mean, but again, though, there is that worry of because there's that, you can have people looking for people with certain power weapons that they need to have because it's only obviously a one slot thing now. So, like, for example, I saw last week when I was looking at Axis challenge groups, a lot of them were asking for people with Dark Drink or Warpaths because of all of these damage numbers and calculations that have been brought out. And again, obviously, a lot of complaints about because the weapons feel underpowered, the primaries, the kinetics, and the energy slots, that they don't do too much weapons. It still feels like bullet sponges. Obviously, as you said earlier, they aren't necessarily the final damage numbers.
We can't, again, we're just this whole...
Again, until seeing it in proper action.
Until you've leveled. I mean, because remember, Destiny, like, the first game, I mean, if we're honest, the game didn't start till you hit max level.
Nope, it did not.
You know, the missions and stuff, that was just to, you know, give you a bit of fluff and give you a bit of story, but then once you got to max level, it was all about, you know, hitting the raids, getting your gear up, getting, you know, equipped, and as the game progressed, yes, we had a lot of different things. There was the PvP, and you could play it how you wanted. If you just wanted to do strikes all the time, and grind rep or crucible all the time, you could do that. If you want to do end game content like raiding, you could do that, or you could do Trials of Osiris. You know, there was all that kind of mix, but the problem being it did very much separate people. And I think in Destiny 2 they're still going to have things like that. There's still going to be end game content for so many different types of playstyle, but I just hope it's going to be just a bit more unified. I don't think it's going to be a clear kind of a line in the sand, you know, having your PvE crowd, your PvP crowd. Hopefully it'll be just more intermingled.
Well, I don't know if you've noticed as well, this is the other interesting thing I've noticed is how this will be in the actual final build. But you come into your, I can't remember what it's called now, well, your stuff is you can pick in the beta. So you've got your strike. But then what's very interesting is you've got your quick play list Crucible and then your competitive mode Crucible. Now, is that going to cause more heavily aimed competitive trials-esque players into that playlist and therefore make the other one a bit more of a fun thing, or is there still going to be a crossover?
I have a feeling that was just I honestly think that was just the way they set up the director, because people were getting hung up on that word competitive. But if you looked at Control, what does it say? Competitive multiplayer. You know, Crucible has always been labeled as competitive multiplayer in Destiny. That's nothing new. But for some reason, in this director for the beta, they made that the actual title. And so people are getting really, really hung up. Oh, competitive. Well, yeah, Crucible, if you go open up Destiny 1 right now, every Crucible mode has a subheading that says competitive multiplayer. So I think that was just for the director. I think we'll have a very similar thing where we'll have the PvE, the strike areas where you'll have to be able to do, you know, whatever your nightfall and things, and then Crucible will be the same, and it'll probably be, you know, listed by actual game type or game modes. No doubt they'll have a rotation as well, where
I expect they probably will.
This week will be salvage or search and destroy or whatever. So
one more thing, what I personally think, anyways, I think Bungie have almost shot themselves in the foot a bit with Destiny 2 and the beta, and I think a lot of that is because they want to keep a lot of cards close to their chest, so it's a lot of surprises.
Yeah.
I think that also causes a lot of problems for players. Like, for example, just simply coming out saying there will be obviously armor mod slots that will increase your grenade recharge and all this lot, because although that's what we assume, that might not be the case. I think because of that, they've almost shot themselves a little bit in the foot. Mm-hmm. I can understand why they haven't wanted to showcase off things like Patrol, because of these lost sectors, which obviously has already been glitzed into anyway, and all this sort of stuff. But I still think they've almost shot themselves a little bit there by keeping quite a lot of stuff hidden. Be nice to see if they would mention anything about things like weapon mods, armor mods, or stuff like that. But again, that's what they've chosen to do, and I almost think it's a little bit of a shoot themselves in the foot kind of situation.
Yeah, no, agreed. I mean, I'm glad I got a chance to play it yesterday, and then a little bit more last night.
Yeah.
It has given me just a little bit better feel. I mean, I think even feel I found that interesting. I'm not sure if you had a chance to play all the classes or not.
Not yet.
And this is just my opinion, the Titan feels clunky, which I don't mean in that bad way. I mean, like, it feels more like, a Titan should be that way, right? A Titan's supposed to be a heavily armored person. Yeah. The Hunter felt very agile, and the Warlock, the best way I can describe it is it just felt kind of smooth. And I know some people don't like it. Some people have said, oh, yeah, the Titans just feel fat, and it doesn't control as nicely as it was, blah, blah, blah. But I think it's kind of more fallen in line with their kind of goal. I mean, you look at the Titans' class ability now with the shield, like the actual barrier they can put up, that's going to be brilliant. I mean, when we were thinking about reading and coordinating things, these class abilities are going to be just exceptional. So I think, it feels a lot like Destiny 1, but at the same time, I think it's just refined and they've tweaked things more to probably what their original concept was.
I think almost that can be quite shown in the stats of resilience, mobility, and what's the other one? Recovery.
Yes.
Because obviously they changed the name slightly. Now resilience is something that intrigues me a lot because obviously in the old Destiny system, it's you have certain codexes you can take that increase your or decrease your, obviously all those sort of stats, your armor, your agility, and your mobility, your movement and everything. Your regenning. But obviously resilience, how high can that go? Can that actually make something like a Titan much more of a tank class as such? As in, I can jump out more and take more of a battering whilst other people hide or something like that. But again, you notice, as you say, with the stats of the gear you get given, first of all, like all the Titan stuff's mainly just resilience. Yeah, you look at the Warlock and there's basically no resilience. It's all about the recovery and the mobility, and I'm assuming it's the same with the Hunter as well.
Yeah. So
again, that, as you say, that kind of just shows, in terms of Titans though, their new Fist of Havoc is bloody amazing.
Oh god, yes.
It's
yeah.
Not only is it here's a Fist of Havoc. I played a game of I played one of the competitive countdown mode, and I generally just walked up, instantly Fist of Havoc 2 people, and then 2 people that are nearest didn't get hit by it, I just shoulder charged them.
Yeah,
it's absolutely amazing. The fact that you can not only, I think it's a little bit broken in my opinion, by the fact that you can come out of nowhere with a Fist of Havoc and then suddenly shoulder charge people as well, and you're like, what can I do? Nothing.
And I think, but I think that even justifies as well why those supers aren't coming up every few minutes. Why there's that long recharge rate, because then when they do, it is a game changer.
It is a massive changer.
So I think that works out. I think that ends up being maybe not perfectly balanced, but
not for PvE necessarily, because a lot of people want to go to PvE for the fun of doing this, but for PvP's wise, maybe a little bit less. But again, it's nice though how you can see when people have supers. So you can sort of be wary of it almost.
Well, to be fair, in PvE though, I mean, as long as you were killing things, I mean, you noticed like you would get a good chunk of super energy, especially like on the bigger kills. So I think once we're geared and at max level,
and we've actually got these lots. Hopefully,
I think that'll work out nicely.
And should hopefully balance it all out nicely. Auto rifles as well are currently in a very good place, almost reminiscent of Destiny 1 in terms of their power. Because I spent a lot of time just using auto rifles in the Crucible modes because they are silly.
Absolutely.
Needless to say.
But no, it was fun. It was fun. Do look forward to it. September 6th, obviously, is unless something changes. I doubt they will. I'm pretty sure they'll be committed to that date. I am excited about trying the PC beta later on in the year in August.
Yes.
I do want to give it a try. I want to see how it feels. Hopefully, the old rig here will be able to deal with it.
Well, I'm hoping mine can as well.
Yeah, well, considering, I mean, you've got SLI and, I've got a 1060. I figure at 1080 will be fine. I think it's only, if you were going above, if you were going to 1440p or even a 4K, then you're going to need, 1080s and, anything under a 1080 need not apply.
Exactly.
But I think at 1080, resolution, I think me and you'll be okay. The physics and stuff might be a bit of a strain on no, but even then you should be all right. I have a feeling like, okay, because I'm on an i7, the experience might be slightly better for me than you because of the extra, the threads.
Yeah.
Because they did say that Destiny 2 is going to take advantage of that, or so they claim. But even that, we still don't. They haven't put out the minimum specs yet. We don't know. So it'll be hard to judge. But either way, look, when the beta for PC does come out, the two of us will most definitely be trying it out.
Oh,
and
yes.
we can compare our results. I just want to see that game at 60 frames. It'll be
be lovely. I think the other thing you can question is, will that make the cinematics look even better?
well.
Because of that.
This is the thing. I mean, I would, if it wasn't for our gang on Xbox, I'd be buying the PC version. I would be wholeheartedly embracing that and just doing it, because I honestly believe that it's gonna change the dynamic. I think that is gonna be the platform to play it on, unless the community kills it, which I hope not, because if you look, the Destiny community has been one of the most positive communities around for quite a while. I mean, you just look at Guardian Con, you just look at the money that they've raised, you look at how they, I mean, sure, you get a few toxic people here and there, but that's the same with any community. And I'm hoping that that'll maintain into the PC launch. Unfortunately, it might not be the case. I mean, I think with the BattleNet integration, that should hopefully stop cheaters and
well, that's what I was going to say. Yeah,
things
hopefully
like that. So
they can curb that. Because looking at Division, for example's PC success compared to that of consoles, it's horrendous because of this ability to hack the game.
Yeah,
and this has always been a problem that has plagued PC games. So I'm hoping, as you say, that with BattleNet integration and everything, that it will hopefully kind of stop that, and you won't just see people just spamming supers in Crucible or things like that, exploits or hacks like that you could expect to see coming from that of a PC platform.
Absolutely. But yeah, so there you go. Destiny 2 beta. It goes open for everyone, well, console players, PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, the 21st till the 23rd. Don't have a time of when it stops on the 23rd, but there is a little treat for those of you who do get on the open beta on Sunday. They're going to be opening up the farm for 1 hour, I believe, which is the social space, and you'll be able to, wave at people and dance, and what was it? You'll be able to make friends with a chicken and kick soccer balls, I believe is what they'd say.
I believe so, yes.
Anyway, look, Destiny 2 beta goes open 21st through the 23rd. Give it a try. Game will launch September 6th on consoles, and October, is it? Slated launch for PC?
So. Yeah, it's
24th or something?
Yeah.
24th or something. Right, now, the reason that I was playing a Destiny 2 beta last night and yesterday is because I'm not going to get a chance to play it this weekend. If you've been keeping your eye on scholarlygamers.com, you will have seen my article up on Monday that we have been invited to Insomnia X Resonate, being held up at Glasgow this year. We are officially on the press list, so hoping to have a good old time. In fact, let me just pull up a couple of things. So most gamers in the UK have heard of Insomnia, and so they usually have the big numbered one, like this year's Insomnia 61. And the big Insomnias are always held in Birmingham, aren't they, Jay? Is that right? At the NEC in Birmingham?
I think so. I know because they do have a few venues, don't they?
Well, yeah, they'll do like other little smaller ones, and then they even do. There's an Insomnia Ireland, which is, I'd like to go there as well. That'd be a hell of a lot of fun. But last year they did the first Insomnia Scotland, which was in Edinburgh, my home city, and had an absolute blast. Loved it. Well, this year, Insomnia, which is ran by Multiplay Events, has teamed up with Resonate, which is hosted by QD Events, to basically bring Scotland's largest gaming festival mashup to life. And it looks like it's going to be a great show. There's all sorts of things going on. There's, as you can imagine, there's a main stage. If I just actually pull up this there's a main stage that has the panel talks, discussion, all sorts of things. There's quite a few big YouTubers showing up. People like Pro Syndicate, people like Terrorizer. In fact, if I just pull up the lineup real quick, because there's so many to shout out. I mean, as you can see here, Marley13, Batchy, 8-Bit Gaming, dang, that's a long name, Rosbalski, The Games, Dawko, The Prenti, Speedy, Ross Boomsocks, and Silent Core. There's going to be all sorts of other cool people there. I was just talking today on Twitter and also in his stream with a really cool guy who I'll just give a little shout out here. If I can get his name right. This should be it, hopefully. Yeah, there we go. Atrocity RM, a mixer partner who I was talking to today, and he's going to be there all weekend. So I'm going to try to link up with him. I was showing him pictures of the cupcakes that they have there. The custom cupcake company always comes, and oh my god, the treats they have are absolutely amazing. But all sorts of other things are happening there. There's turn up and play tournaments, which happen every day. So basically, they've got Rocket League, Overwatch, League of Legends, Jay.
Yes.
The PC. For PlayStation 4 tournaments, they've got Tekken 7, Street Fighter. For Xbox, there's going to be FIFA 17 tournaments. They've even got Super Smash Bros. On the Wii U. There's going to be a COD Infinite Warfare tournament, activities happening. But yeah, there's all sorts of things going on. Same with the exhibitions. They always have big vendors there, and honestly, I can just go through here. There's so many companies that are going to be there showing off their goods. Some really good computer equipment's going to be there. Oh, I can't wait. It's going to be, I'm going to be in heaven, basically. So what I'm going to be doing during the event, obviously, I'm going to gather as much information as I can. I'll be doing a combination of taking photographs. I've actually got a photographer, my intern, coming along with me. So she'll be taking care of all the photography. I'll try to do a few interviews when I can here and there, if I can, get in front of these people. But also, I'm just going to take a lot of video content. So I'm going to do a mixture here of recording stuff to then, upload later. I'll also probably do a couple of cheeky periscopes on Twitter, so you get some live footage. But I'm also going to do, depending on mobile coverage, which it's in Glasgow, so I should have 4G, no problem. I'm going to do mixer streams directly from my mobile phone. Probably not very long ones, but certain little bits and bobs here and there. So there's going to be so many ways to keep up to date with Insomnia X Resonate this weekend. Just look on Twitter for the hashtag Insomnia, all small letters then and big letters RTG, as well as the hashtag Scholarly Gamers. Look out for me on Twitter, AcuteJungle66, and I should have a few write-ups on the website scholarlygamers.com for next week. But I'm really looking forward to it for a mixture of reasons. The atmosphere is great. It's a chance to meet people, do a bit of networking, see a few. I think there's going to be quite a few Scottish streamers there. There's definitely going to be quite a lot of Scottish YouTubers there. So it'll be nice to meet my fellow Scots and talk about gaming stuff. But it's also all these other zones they're going to be having. The Retro Zone, which, get this, Jay, they're actually over in the States. They did a in 1992 they did a campus challenge where it was on the Super Nintendo, and so they're recreating that. They're doing the Super Nintendo campus challenge. There's going to be things like Sonic 2, F-Zero, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, Mario Kart. The Retro Zone looks like a lot of fun. There's also going to be a virtual reality zone, so get a chance to slap a headset on, have a bit of fun. An indie zone for, obviously all the kind of indie stuff, because, indie games are so overlooked sometimes, and there's some just smashing things that come out of there. There's also the Minecraft area. The Minecraft area is always quite large. And very, very popular. Again, my intern is going to love that. She loves Minecraft to death. But there's also a really cool digital making space where they're going to have interactive workshops that are going to teach people how to code. So whether it's building like an old classic game or making music only in computer code, yeah, that's going to be there, and that's going to be available to do. So, quite a cool weekend. Their schedule is identical, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So that makes it real easy for me. I don't have to try to, oh crap, on Friday I need to see this and I need to do that. I can actually just plan it. So Friday, I am just going to walk the floor, see as much stuff as I can, tweet out things, this, that, and that. But then Saturday, Sunday, I can actually try to target some of these panels, because they're going to have a Scotland v England event. I don't know what game they're playing. Let me see. Does it actually say? Every day at 1 o'clock. Scotland v England. The Battle of the Ages returns. This time our special guests will be throwing down for national pride. Our Scottish and English YouTubers will duke it out in a series of head-to-head and team-based challenges to find out once and for all who's best. So, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. We need to try, maybe next year, look at doing one of the other Insomnias.
Oh, yes.
Because this Insomnia didn't have what I was hoping for. Was like the other ones usually have the bring your own console or bring your own computer thing, where you can pay for a weekend pass, where you bring a tent, but it's indoor camping. Bring your own stuff with you, and then you can just have a... I think that could be quite a lot of fun. I know it's not cheap when you factor all, the whole weekend in, but I think we could have an absolute blast.
I remember, I think I've actually done it once. I've paid one of the Insomnias to go and do that. It was great fun.
Yeah.
With a couple of mates, it's so much fun. To be fair, Insomnia events as a whole are amazing. They're great fun to go around. They've got a lot of stuff on, as you've already quite happily shown with their event and everything. They're always great. But yeah, I think we should do at some point.
Yeah, no, it'd be fun. Would be a hell of a lot of fun. But yeah, so that starts tomorrow UK time. 10:30 when the doors open to the public. I think priority access gets in at 10. But that's Friday, Saturday, Sunday of this weekend. But I will be there representing Scholarly Gamers. If you see me, just come say hi. Don't worry, I won't bite you. I'm a big guy. Don't worry about it though. I'm a big teddy bear, nice and friendly. But yeah, we'll be going around and taking pictures where we can and just doing our things and hope to have a blast. But yeah, just keep a lookout. Right, I think that should do us for this evening, Jay. Thank you so much for your time. It is always appreciated.
That's no problem at all. Anytime.
No problem. Thank you. If you're watching this, obviously this was streamed live, but chances are you're probably watching it either on YouTube or at scholarlygamers.com. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to check out all the articles on our website. There's some brilliant writers. Just today, a fantastic article came up about mature games and parenting in this day and age. Definitely worth a read. And of course, you need to check out my buddy Sheldon's Armchair Gaming as well. You know what to do. Like if you like, don't like if you don't, and feel free to share the page with as many people as you can. Anyway, I'm Acute Jungle. He's Sergeant J. Thank you so much for tuning in for Jungle Drums, and we'll see you again next week.
Au revoir.